Is the Indian economy bouncing back, or is this self-created euphoria? Is the rise in auto sales pent-up demand? Is more stimulus needed? Is the government being fiscally conservative? Some of the questions I want to raise at the moment. Professor Arun Kumar, economist who's been a critic of the government, joins us. Nilesh Shah is MD and CEO Kotak Mutual Fund and a member of the Prime Minister's Economic Advisory Council. And Rajiv Dubey is editor at Business Today. Let me first come to you, Nilesh Shah. You heard Rajiv Bajaj putting various cautionary signals, saying he would like to wait to see what happens post-festive before suggesting that the Indian economy is recovering. Much more needs to be done, particularly to stimulate MSMEs and to get exports back on track. How do you respond to that? Are we being overly euphoric, doing cartwheels before the economy truly revives?
So the data which is coming out is suggesting that slowly and steadily economy is recovering. Your power consumption in October is up 13%. Clearly, factories are running. Your rail freight is up 15%. Clearly, cargoes are moving. And more importantly, PMI of India for October came at 58.9, much higher than China. That means manufacturers are looking towards future with optimism. Now, it might be pent-up demand, it might be festive demand, but we needed a catalyst of demand to kickstart the economy. So far, momentum is positive. And more importantly, from a stock market point of view, out of 17 odd Nifty companies which have come out with results, 16 are either ahead of expectation or meeting expectation. And only one company's result is below expectation. So my guess is that we are moving in right direction. Obviously, everyone wants to sustain this momentum.
No, in the sense that Nilesh Shah, as Rajiv Bajaj mentioned, there is degrowth year on year. The concern that is there is that compared to 2019-20, and that was not a great year for the economy, we are still degrowing. How do you revive, in a sense, the animal spirits of the economy, get back to double-digit growth without further stimuli? He seems to suggest that there isn't enough stimulus at the moment within the economy to sustain this consumer demand beyond the festive season.
So I will just pick up a couple of important points. We have provided accommodative monetary policy. Now we have to ensure that credit growth pickup, which we witnessed in September and October, is continued further. Without credit, growth is not possible. We have also seen lowest policy rates in Indian monetary system. Now we need to ensure that the benefit of low interest rates are available to small and medium enterprises. And we have seen a beginning where housing loans are now available below 7%. We have seen one of the record high foreign direct investments coming to India. But we must ensure that like 2000, technology sector made India back office to the world. 2020 COVID-19 pushes India to become manufacturing hub. We must become part of global supply chain management, which can change India's growth orbit for years to come. And finally, while we have to maintain path of fiscal prudence, we should focus on raising non-tax revenues through strategic divestment, through monetization of already existing assets, and through unlocking of gold, which is mostly lying in black economy in Tijori. Through this combination, we could sustain the recovery which we have seen in September and October.
Okay, so you believe that this is a potentially sustainable economy. Let me turn to you, Professor Arun Kumar, because you've been a critic of the government. Now, today the government has turned to the GST collection figures, pointing out GST collection has crossed the rupee 1 lakh crore mark in October. With festive months ahead, India's economy will receive a huge boost. There is some sign. Power consumption is cited, and Nilesh also referred to that, to suggest that the economy seems to have put the worst behind it. I mean, there are two ways to look at it. The glass may not be full, but it isn't as empty also that you and other critics suggest.
So, Rajdeep, a lockdown means a voluntary cessation of economic activity. So when you begin to open up, clearly things will be better than what they were in April, May. So nobody is saying that things are not better. And when you say green shoots are visible, it doesn't mean you've recovered back. It only means that you're reviving a little bit. The question is, over what period of time would you revive? And as Mr. Bajaj was saying, there are a lot of uncertainties. And if you look at the RBI data, which came out in July, the MPC report, consumer sentiment is way down, and the confidence of the investors is way down. The investments are way down. And without investments increasing, how would you spur growth? And you are right that the consumer sentiment at this point, because of Diwali and the festivals, may be better. But would it sustain, given that CMIE data says that roughly about 20 million salaried employees lost work and roughly 5 million professionals lost work during the pandemic, and that has not been recovered. Not only that, many people lost their wages because wages were cut at some places quite drastically. So if incomes of the organized sector are down, then of course you are in trouble, because this is just a pent-up demand which will not continue, especially for discretionary items. And you can also see the unorganized sector is not reviving. Every day there are reports about the unorganized sector, how the unorganized sector, which is 31% of GDP, that is still way down. So I think the economy is still 30% down compared to last year. And if that much down, then of course investment will not revive soon, consumption will not revive soon, and you will remain in trouble. So the question is, how soon would the revival be? And as you are rightly saying, that there is a possibility of a second wave or third wave, that uncertainty prevails. So many people fear that they may lose a job later on, if not now. And if you look at textile sector, it's only operating at 70%, leather goods industry also operating at 70%. So yes, there are good performance and a poor performance. So it was expected that pharma will do well. It was expected automobiles will do well. IT, the telecom sector will do well. So these are some of the sectors that will do well, but a whole range of others will not do so well because of the lack of demand. And the lack of demand may continue given the uncertainty.
Let me take that to you, Rajiv Dubey. You're getting two contrasting views. Nilesh Shah, member of the Prime Minister's Economic Advisory Council, is optimistic, believes that this could be the harbinger of better times. Professor Arun Kumar and earlier Rajiv Bajaj pointing out some of the cautionary tales in getting over-exuberant at times like this. What's your sense? Are there some green shoots of recovery that one can notice? And this is, of course, contrasted with the mood that existed, say, June, July, August, just after the lockdown. Is that sentiment, that confidence slowly but surely reviving?
Rajdeep, we have to look at this as, signs of life coming back into the economy. I don't think we can yet say that there is a recovery or a revival happening, because even if you look at the automobile numbers, what Rajiv Bajaj was referring to, the degrowth that you are seeing this year is over and above the degrowth that happened in last fiscal. 18% was the shrinkage in the two-wheeler industry and passenger vehicles industry last year. So the degrowth you're seeing is over and above that, 18% but plus 3%. You're not seeing any very significant uptick in the consumer offtake of loans, for instance. Credit offtake has not gone up. Personal loans are down from 16% growth to less than 9% growth. We are currently in a kind of economy of contradictions. This is, if you see the real economy, it is so divorced from the stock market. The stock markets are on fire. Real economy is actually shrinking. You see the micro economy, there's signs of life, as I said, but there is macro economy is still in deep freeze. You see the large companies are declaring very good results, and the medium and small companies are struggling like never before. So these are the kind of contradictions that we are seeing. What we are seeing is signs of life in pockets of the economy. And, you see the rural India. Rural India is so different, growing so much better than the urban India. So there are a lot of contradictions right now in the economy. Macroeconomy is not, macroeconomy is definitely not seeing any action, especially something like project announcements, which were used to be on an average of 3.3 lakh crore per month. We are at 70,000 crore per month. So let
me take that. I think you make a very, very valid point that we are getting a mixed picture, Nilesh Shah. One example, for example, the stock market doing much better than the real economy. Micro industry suffering even as big companies announce better results. There's a sense that we're not looking at the economy as a whole. We're, selectively cherry picking. Auto sector doing well, but textiles struggling at the moment. How do you revive the entire economy? At the end of the day, people are losing jobs even now. Every day reports come of companies downsizing, preparing in a sense for a post-COVID world. In that sense, I come back to it. How do you revive that confidence in the economy and, dare I say, in the consumer?
So the data about economic activities about the past. and the stock market is looking towards the future. So there will be some inconsistency where markets being future oriented will look with optimism, whereas the data is still negative. Second, there's no doubt that FY21 GDP will still be negative. The second quarter GDP for September 20 quarter will still be negative. So we are all looking at a gradual recovery. But the fact remains that October is better than September. September was better than August. August was better than July. So from the lows in the first quarter, the second quarter going to see lower GDP, higher GDP growth, but yet lower compared to year-on-year? Answer is yes. So we have to ensure that this.
But where is the intervention? Sorry, Nilesh, sorry to intervene, but ask you, where is the intervention? Does it need a second stimulus? There's been much talk of this, that the government needs to give a second stimulus to kickstart the post-festive economy, that we are trapped in these numbers. We're looking at GST numbers, which is an accumulation of the fact that GST in certain months was not paid. Can that be seen as a sign of revival?
It is a sign of revival for sure. But are there sectors which require support and stimulus? Answer is undoubtedly yes. There are sectors like tourism, travel, hotel, aviation, retailing, small and medium enterprises, which will require some sort of support. Now, MSMEs did get credit guarantee scheme and some credit moved towards them. But beyond credit, will they require some sort of equity support probably? The answer is yes. And which is where it is important to maintain path of fiscal prudence and yet raise non-tax revenues so that we can provide that kind of support. Now, compared to market divestment, strategic divestment always provides better return, better value. If we monetize our assets in today's world where interest rates are low and liquidity is high, we will be able to get good value. If we unlock our gold, which is probably more than $2 trillion lying in black economy in Tijori, and bring it into formal economy, it's going to increase investments. And I will take you to PMI data, which is basically estimate of how producers are looking towards the future. This is the first PMI where not only consumer goods, but also intermediate goods as well as investments have seen positive growth.
Let me just take that to Professor Arun Kumar. If you had to give one suggestion top of the mind and very quickly, what would that suggestion be to the government to sustain this beyond just the festive season?
The government has to look at the short run, create demand, which means employment generation so that, people have more purchasing power in their hands, which means rural employment guarantee scheme, which has got only 1 lakh crore, must be stepped up to at least 3 lakh crore. The wages have to be increased under the rural employment guarantee scheme, plus give 200 days of work rather than 100 days of work. Create a similar scheme in the urban areas so that the urban unemployed and the professionals and so on, they start getting jobs, they start getting incomes. So unless you increase demand, the supply side will not work. The government is going for supply side changes. It says that we'll reform this, we'll reform that, but that'll take 3 years, 5 years to work itself out. What you need is immediate demand revival. Without that immediate demand revival, industry will not be able to pick up. So therefore, government needs to step up. The problem is government had planned for a 10% growth in the economy. Actually, you have a minus 10%. So there's 20% off on the budget. So if all figures are wrong, so therefore the government must reformulate its budget immediately. Otherwise, your revenue projections are going to be wrong. Your expenditure projections are going to be wrong. And therefore, the fiscal deficit will balloon in any case. So government must, come out with emergency measures to reformulate its budget and allocate much more for employment generation and put incomes in the hand of people.
Final word, Rajiv Dubey, 30 seconds. Where would the government start according to you? What is it that the government now needs to do?
Rajdeep, to all that Professor Kumar has said, I'd like to add that public expenditure, as one of our cover stories a couple of months back says, public expenditure has to carry on. Public expenditure has actually stalled. States have had a big hit on public expenditure. Some states have reduced it by as much as 60%. So capacity building in that area is not happening. And that has to be a joint effort between the center and the states. States have to live up to the expectations of the center and of the public in general to be able to improve public expenditure, grow public expenditure, and so will create demand in the economy, both at the state level and at the center. So apart from consumption is absolutely primary. We cannot look at exports because that's not in our control. And private investment we are far, far away. We are nowhere close to private investment. So the two engines that we can start firing is consumption, if we can do whatever Professor Kumar said, and second, public expenditure. Capital expenditure must be accelerated, even if it means states and center have to take a lot more burden on themselves.
Okay. As always, very insightful from all of you. I appreciate you joining us. It's always a pleasure talking to people who know their economics and understand beyond the numbers what needs to be done to revive the economy. It remains the big challenge of our times, and therefore, rather than euphoria, we perhaps need a step-by-step approach before we can conclusively say that we are on the road to recovery. Thank you all very much for joining me here on my big talking point on the news today.
Hi everyone, Preeti Chaudhary here. Hope you like this video. For latest news and analysis, like and subscribe to the India Today YouTube channel. And don't forget to press the bell icon to stay updated. Thank you for watching.